tell you what what I would want my man to be, right? So you gotta be. Everybody says God fearing, yeah. You gotta believe in God, yeah. All of that. You gotta kind of come already put together. Like, I don't want to build a man. I don't want to do that. Like, whatever I ask for, I'm able to bring it myself. So I want you to be a provider. I want you to be able to lead me because I'm tired of leading. These men nowadays, you gotta lead them. I don't want to do that no more. You gotta be able to be a role model to my child. Like, he has his father. He doesn't need a father. His father's very active. But if you're gonna be in my life, you gotta be somebody that my son can look up to.
Should he make a certain amount of money? Now, you said you want him to have his stuff together.
Yeah, he got to make at least. I make a lot of money, so he got to make at least. I would say at least like at bare minimum 100,000.
Bare minimum 100K?
Yeah, because you can't. You got to be able to keep up with my lifestyle. I vacation a lot. I don't want you to be like, if I want to go on a vacation, I can't do it because I got to pay my bill. No, I need you. I'm sorry, but 100,000 is probably bare minimum.
Okay.
And I don't want a man to be intimidated by me either, because I make so much. I don't want a man that's making 70,000, 80,000, even 100,000 is low, but I'll take it. I don't want a man to look at me and be like, like she's the breadwinner and feel, intimidated, because men do that as well.
Let me ask you this. What if, you say you do pretty well, you make 100K or plus, whatever you make, and he comes to the door?
I make over two.
Okay, so that's why, so you make over 200K, so that's why 100K is low to you. Now just hear this out. Tell me if this would work. If you met a man that made 70 and y'all joined together, when that your eyes move, wouldn't that be an additional 70,000 to what you guys already had if y'all joined as one?
Yes, he would. So 70,000. That's low for me. Like, he would have to be, because I'm a boss. It's hard for me to date workers, right? Men that like work 9 to 5s. I don't think they really understand my lifestyle.
All right, and for those who are saying she can't get this man with the salary requirement, you said you already date men who make 100K, correct?
The one that I was just with, he was a millionaire. So stop playing in my face, cousins. Stop playing. Yeah.
It's a big pay cut from a millionaire to 100K.
Yeah, and the one before him made about 160. So y'all don't get it twisted.
Okay, let's do the Kendra Cam.
All right, I gotta get out my car.
See, I was trying to be down for the young lady in the very beginning. I really was. In the very beginning, she was saying a lot of things that were on point. That she would want a man to be a leader. She would want a man who could be a role model to her son. His father is very active in his life, so another man just needs to come in, and if another man comes into the picture, he needs to be somebody that her son could look up to. Sounds great. Everything she was saying in the beginning sounded great. She sounded like a young lady who had a good head on her shoulder, that she would be respectful of a man, and she would be respectful of his relationship with her son and would want them to have a good relationship. Sounded great at first. But I always say, if you let a person keep talking long enough, oftentimes they'll talk themselves out of the situation, because then some realities start hitting and the red flags start flying. So first, let me put it like this. Money oftentimes kills the beauty of a man or a woman. Oftentimes. Their thought processes on money and how they categorize it often kills the whole situation. And the young lady expressed that she makes over $200,000, and that's good. She is in a very low percentage of people who make that amount of money. The amount of people who make $100,000 is actually a very low percentage of people who make 100,000. And when you're talking about the Black community, it's even lower. So it's a smaller pool to pull from. But here's the kicker, though. $100,000, $1 million is all just relative. It is. I've had clients who were making 200. This is in the early 2000s. He was making $275,000. Yet they were living paycheck to paycheck. Sure, they had a house On the beach. They had a house in the mountains. They had their house in the one that they lived in full time. The wife and he had their cars. Kids was in private school. They had memberships to 2 golf courses. They had a lot of things that they were putting their money out. And when his job gave him a $50,000 pay cut, they had to sell off a lot of things. They had to get rid of a lot of things in their lives because they were living paycheck to paycheck. You see, money is relative to how much you can keep. I know a young lady who's never made over $40,000 a year, yet she is more well traveled than anybody that I know of. Hell, last time I talked to her, she was on her 4th passport. Her house is paid for. She only pays the taxes every year. She bought the house when she was in her 20s. She's never moved. She maintains her cars for like 15 years. So she's always got more money than money. She's doing better than most people who are making 2, 3, 4 times as much money as she does. So my point is, money is relative to how well you manage your money, but money is also relative to where you live. You make $200,000 and you live in New York City. It's not a lot of money. A person, no, let me give you a better example. When I was a sales manager in Tampa, Florida, my base salary was $50,000 because 55 would have put me in a different tax bracket and I actually would have brought home less money. But my base pay was $50,000 and I received 7% commission on the total sales teams put out. Now, when I was offered an opportunity in that company to go to Manhattan, they offered me a salary of $175,000 and the same percentage on what my team put together. But when I looked at living condition, in order to live the same way I was living in Tampa, Florida, I would have to live 2-hour train ride away from Manhattan. It was an impossibility for me to live the same way in Manhattan that I was living in Tampa, Florida. So money is relative to where you live because 55 plus commission was completely different from 175 plus commission in New York. So where a man lives or where anybody lives, the money hit differently. But she doesn't see that. And she also doesn't understand the idea of building together. I hate these dogs. I can't wait to move to the country. But she doesn't understand the idea of building together. If you were truly looking to develop a relationship with someone, then you would look at, okay, if we're building together, you come in with your 75, I got my 220, 240, whatever it is that she's making. How much pressure does that take off of both of us now that we're building together, and how much money we now have together that we can continue to live the lifestyle? It should increase your ability to live your lifestyle when you come together with someone and both of you are working, not decrease it. But she is measuring a man's character, a man's personality based on his money. Maybe he likes doing what he's doing and what he does only pays that amount. Many people who love being teachers, you're not going to make 200,000 as a teacher. You're not going to make 100,000 in most places as a teacher. You're good to make anywhere from 60 to 90 as a teacher in most places, and relative to where you live, it could be even less. So therefore, if you have a teacher in a city like Atlanta who's making $75,000 or $80,000, but they are managing their money well, they actually have the same amount of freedom that you have. But when you're blinded by numbers and titles, you won't be able to see that. And when you can't see that, you can't see a good mate. All you see are numbers. And maybe there's a reason why the millionaire that you dated is not with you anymore. You ever think about that? So always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.